I just wanted to take some time to make a YouTube video on how to become a travel nurse. I encounter a lot of nurses who are very curious about it, so I hope this video helps. A little bit about me, backstory. I became a LPN in 2004. I went back and got my RN about a year and a half later. So I've been a nurse for almost 20 years. I was in the float pool in the hospital as an LPN, and that got my foot in the door for flexibility, floating, and being kind of just flexible all the way around and learning new things, going to every single unit. So that was a lot of fun. I encourage nurses to get into the float pool if they can and learn as much as they can as a brand new nurse. So after that, about a year and a half as an RN, I started branching out as a travel nurse. And I was working at one hospital part-time, and then I signed up with the nursing agency and started picking up shifts just kind of in my area, per diem shifts. So they weren't contracts. They weren't 3-month contracts. They were just picking up days here and there on my day off, just getting my foot in the door with travel nursing. And so I thought that was really interesting how other hospitals operated. A lot of them could be very different. And so yeah, just started branching out into all the hospitals that would take me with my company in the city that I was in and then nearby cities. So I learned a lot. It was a lot of fun. So that's a little bit about me. I've done all kinds of nursing, med surge, ortho, every floor you could think of, pediatrics. I did ER for 3 years. And then over the years, I've taken staff jobs here and there, stayed for a year or two, and then went back to travel nursing because I just get that travel itch and I just start traveling again. It's been a lot of fun. Nursing is such a rewarding career, and I just recommend it to everybody who is interested for sure. Reasons to be a travel nurse. Number one would be flexibility. Definitely you can pick and choose where you want to work, when you want to work, how long you want to work. It is definitely, the flexibility is my number one reason for travel nursing. Number two, obviously the pay is higher for travel nurses. Fluctuates with each hospital, each contract, each experience, different in every state. You just have to do your research. Number three for me would be time off between contracts. You can take off as much time as you want and how much time that you can. So you can work a contract, take off 2, 3, 4, 5 months if you want, and then go back to working. Time off between contracts is a big deal because I like to travel. I like to live life to the fullest. I like to go have fun with my friends and family, and that makes it possible that I can have the time off. So big time reason is time off. I'm looking down at my outline here. It's always learning something new. You're not stagnant in one place, just doing the same thing over and over again. If you move to a different facility, different state, you are just overcome with different ways of doing things, learning new things, policies, procedures, and it kind of keeps you on your toes. So that's a good thing. Another reason that I love travel nursing is to avoid burnout. I see a lot of nurses that stay on the same unit, same hospital for years and years and years, and they are so burnt out. Politics, just the same thing over and over again, dealing with the same situations. And if you travel nurse and you go to different hospitals, you know that you're gonna face another situation in 3 months, and it's gonna be different, and you're refreshed, you're there, you're like ready. And then you may get a little burnout in 3 months even, and then you go to the next contract and it's gonna be new and fresh. So avoiding burnout is a huge reason to do travel nursing. Even though travel nursing, you may get burnout as well. I see more staff nurses that are burnt out more than travel nurses, because you know that the contract's gonna end and you can have a vacation if you want to. You're gonna go to another hospital if you want to. So you want to be a travel nurse. So how do I get started, you ask? Well, you can search up a company. Start Googling companies and calling them up and see what they have to offer in your area or where you want to go. Talk to several recruiters in different companies if you can. Even talk to some travel nurses in your hospital. They might have a recommendation for a really good company for you. Pick a company, call them up, ask them some questions about what hospitals that they work with, and decide if that's the right company for you based on your interview with the recruiter. It's got to feel good with the recruiter, I think, because they're going to be helping you with your contract. You're going to negotiate terms, what you get paid, where you're going to go there, you know. So just know that if you feel good with the recruiter, that's a plus. So after you pick a company, you're going to start the hiring process. And this part is kind of time consuming sometimes. So you're going to want to get started sooner than later. Fill out the application. You're going to need references. So start talking to your director, your manager, house supervisor, whoever you know is going to give you a good reference, and ask them if you can use them, and kind of keep. So what I recommend is keeping a folder when you start this hiring process. Start a folder, and in this folder you're going to have a section with your employment history, because they always want to know your employment history, where you went to school, where you worked, how long, all those things. So you're just going to want to keep it all organized. And then the next section, maybe your license information, certificate information, all your vaccine information. And then the next section may be for the background check. They do background checks at every company that I've hired on with. So they want to know where you lived for the last 5 years. So you're going to want to keep all that in an organized section. And then your references. So keep it all together, because you may not stay with this company, you may move to another company, and you're going to want that information handy when that time comes. They're most likely going to do a drug screen, a physical. They usually pay for all this. They'll hook you up with a physical. They'll pick the place, and then you just go and get the physical. You're going to get a TB skin test. I've had lots of those. Then most likely you're going to have to do online modules like nursing knowledge tests and math tests for drug administration. Don't be worried. Don't let this discourage you. It's really not that bad. It's just time consuming. So it just takes a lot of patience. Just don't let that discourage you. Just keep going with it. So after you are on board with the company and you pass the hiring process, then they're going to set you up with the hospital that you choose. So they're going to send out your application, all your information to the hospital. That manager is going to review your profile. And also with the hiring process, you're going to do a skills checklist. So can you do this? Have you done this? How many, how comfortable are you with this? All the skills that of nursing, they're going to have you check off, and you kind of update this skills list like every year or two. So that's how the managers and the director know what your skill set is on this skills checklist. So then they'll either just hire you and say, yes, we want this nurse, let's set up a time to start, or you're gonna have a interview over the phone. Keep in mind, with the phone interview with the manager or the director, you are also interviewing them. So ask them questions about the hospital, about the unit, do you want to go there? So it's a kind of you're interviewing each other, right? You both want the fit to be good. So with per diem, I've never had to interview, but with some 3-month contracts, I've had to interview over the phone. Obviously, you're going to be interviewing with the floor that you have the skill set for. Med-surg nurses go to med-surg, PCU goes to PCU, ICU goes to ICU. But ask them if you are going to float, if there's a lot of floating. So you want to be aware of that and ready for that. They may float. And so that's why getting into the float pool in the beginning of my nursing career was really helpful, because I already was familiar with floating. So a lot of nurses aren't comfortable with floating, but really it helps you out learning new units, new things. Maybe if you float somewhere with a great positive attitude, you may love that type of nursing and go for it. I for a while kept a list of questions for my interviewing process in my little folder, and each time I was interviewed on the phone, I would just ask those questions. And obviously I would add the questions each time I would do a contract and be like, oh, I want to know this about my next contract. So keep a list of questions. After you get set up with the per diem shifts or the contract, your recruiter will send you information about the hospital. You know, you'll watch videos probably on the computer about the hospital, about policies and procedures, about the facility in general, parking, what color scrubs you should wear, and you know, all the things about the hospital. The charting system, most likely you'll either have a computer module about the charting system, or you'll have a class at the hospital how to do the charting system. The charting system is a big thing, so I would include that in your questions for the manager. What is your charting system? What is your staffing ratio? You definitely want to be aware of that and have a heads up about that. So it's your first day of your per diem shift or your contract, and so I suggest getting there early as you can to orient yourself with the hospital. I would kind of give yourself an orientation, how to get there, parking. You want to get there early for figure out where you need to park. Sometimes that takes a little bit. You might get a little lost, and if you give yourself enough time, you won't be late. A lot of the times for your first day, you will have for 3-month contracts, you have orientation day, so they'll give you an orientation. But I kind of like to get there early just to check out the hospital on my own, look it over, get lost, find my way around. I like to go to the unit, meet people, find out where their med room is, Pyxis, find out where their supply room is, and just that's my the way I do it. But a lot of times I'll give you definitely an orientation. I've been to places though where, for a per diem shift, they don't give you that much orientation. They just kind of, here are the things and go. That would be probably a really good question to ask in your recruiter or the manager in your interviewing process. How much orientation am I going to get? What is the orientation process? That would be very good to know ahead of time. That way, you can give yourself time as needed if they're not going to give you enough. So the biggest challenge of travel nursing that I have found is, once you're a nurse, you're a nurse. You know how to do nursing. But when you go to different facilities, they do things different. Their policies are different, and their procedures may be different. Ask questions if you have questions, and find out how to do things the right way. But yeah, that's the biggest thing, is finding out who the doctors are, how to get a hold of the doctors. It's all different at every hospital. I've been to Washington and they did it completely different. I'm now in Florida. They do things completely different. The charting systems are different. It's just, everything's different. So, that's the biggest challenge, is learning how to do things in a different way. It makes you feel like a brand new nurse again. You're like, I know how to do this. It's just, I don't know how to do this here. It's just different. Also, you're already new to a hospital. Well, you're going to be the first to float probably if you're a travel nurse. Float somewhere else. So you're constantly learning new places and new things. You have to be flexible to be able to do this. And you can. It's very doable. You just got to have patience with yourself and everybody around you and take the time to learn things. And the first day or two, 3 days maybe, are the hardest. But once you get the swing of things and start to know who people are, it starts to get better from there. So just know that the first day or two, maybe even week, especially if you first start out with travel nursing, it's going to be kind of tough in the beginning, but it gets better. Just hang in there. Hang in there. Just one step at a time. Find the company, start the application process, talk with the recruiter, pick your hospital, get hired on, and get a day scheduled. And you're gonna find that it's gonna be the craziest ride. It's gonna be fun, it's gonna be exciting, it's gonna be challenging, and you're gonna learn a lot about yourself and nursing. Travel nursing is not easy, but it's super rewarding. And nursing in general is rewarding, right? So if you're looking for something different and you're getting tired of being in the same place day after day, I always suggest then find another position in nursing where you think you might want to go and go try it out, or try travel nursing. Either one. Just move the nursing to a different place, and you're gonna find that you probably wish that you would have done it sooner. So step out of your comfort zone and grow. Also, if you want to follow me in Free Spirit, my trailer, and learn about how to pull a trailer, also how to hook up the trailer, as I learned with this trailer, I'm posting videos about how to hook it up, how to set it up, how to maintain it. So as I go with the trailer, I'm trying to keep up with videos on learning about it. So if you want to learn about it too, go ahead and follow me. Now your homework is to pick a travel agency and talk with a recruiter and apply. Okay?